Well, the Pistons were down 3 starters against Chicago and still found a way to get a rather dominant win. Hey, Pistons fans, welcome back to another episode of Pistons Daily, your go-to podcast for daily Detroit Pistons content, game recaps, Coach T's keys, trade rumors, and real conversations about what's going well and what's not with your Detroit Pistons. I'm your host, Tony Nash, a.k.a. Coach T, and if you love the Detroit Pistons like I do, you've come to the right place. This is what we do here. We talk the Detroit Pistons every day. So this is your place for Detroit Pistons content. If you haven't already, make sure you head on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share it with all your friends, give us some comments, let us know what you think, leave us a 5-star review. Anything you can do to support the podcast, we appreciate it. We're so close to 2,500 subscribers, so if you can help us out, we greatly appreciate that. And as I mentioned last night, the Pistons got a big win against Chicago, missing 3 starters. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the game. Cade Cunningham out with a bruised right wrist or a contusion on his wrist. So hopefully that's not an extended injury. You got the Clippers on Saturday, so we're definitely going to need him after the game that Kawhi Leonard had the last time we played them. That makes it 3 in a row for us, and nice to see us back on a little bit of a winning streak here. And the second game in a row where we held a team in the 90s. Of course, New York, we remember that. We're not forgetting that one. I actually rewatched the game yesterday just because I wanted to be in a great mood, and that was fun to watch back on TV. And, you know, there was that streak back in 2004 where we had a 7-game streak, I believe, where we held NBA teams in the 70s or less. And I think in today's NBA, holding a team in the 90s or less is probably about the equivalent, and so the Pistons have done that. The defense is back, and it's good to see us really being committed to the defense. We talked a lot about that last week when we were struggling, you know, the last couple weeks when we were struggling to get some wins, that it was really our defense wasn't what it was, and it seems like the last few games our defense has really kicked up. And, of course, that's really led by, I think, our defensive leader, and that is Beef Stew Isaiah Stewart tonight with a career-high 31 points on 14 for 17 shooting from the field. Just a great performance for Stu. They had no answer for him. Hit a couple of big threes, was dominant in the paint. The post moves were there. And this is why I've been saying that Isaiah Stewart needs to be a starter. I think Tobias Harris, at this point in his career, needs to come off the bench, be that 15 to 18-minute rotation player that gets us some instant offense, runs that second unit, and let Stu and JD play together, because when they're on the court together, it is dominant, especially on the defensive end. And, of course, Stu shoots the 3 at a good enough clip to really draw enough attention. And so I'm going to keep saying this, but I think Isaiah Stewart needs to work his way into the starting lineup even when Tobias comes back. The question is JB willing to make that move? Is Tobias Harris willing to come off the bench? But I think that's a winning formula for us. And Stu had a great game tonight. Just a solid performance really from all our starters. Duncan Robinson on 4 for 9 who's 4 for 7 from 3. He had 12 points. Asar Thompson had 11 points on 5 of 11 shooting, 8 rebounds. Asar is just such a great defensive player. I mean, he does so many things that I think just don't show up on the stat sheet. But I'm big on Asar, as everybody knows. Jaden Ivey got to start tonight. Only 20 minutes still on a little bit of restriction. But he had a few good moments, you know, obviously still not as explosive, but 8 points, played some really good defense. He had 4 assists. Paul Reed, you know, you guys know how much I love Paul. Maybe not his best game, but not a bad game at all. 9 points. He 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So, I mean, a solid night. He was 1 for 3 from 3. I don't love seeing Paul Reed shoot 3-pointers. I know he can make him. He did bank one in. The bank was open for him tonight, I guess. But I'd rather him stay inside. He's got a nice little touch. He had that weird-looking little floater that he made. But that's just B-ball Paul, right? And so just Mr. Consistent. I love that he's coming in for JD and just giving us some great minutes. Defensively, he was great. He made everything difficult for Vucevic. You know, we had 12 guys see the floor. 10 guys scored. Tolu Smith only played a minute. Marcus Sasser only played 7 minutes. Ron Holland was really the motor in the second half. We kind of rode with him. 26 minutes for him tonight because he was really bringing the energy on defense. He had 11 points. Let me see what he had for steals. Ron Holland says he just had 1 steal. Javonte Green with 4 steals, though. 11 points for him as well. Karis LeVert was back tonight, and I'm curious how they're going to work Karis into the lineup when Cade comes back. Would he have taken Dannis Jenkins minutes tonight? Is he still going to be the primary backup to Cade? What are they going to do there? I don't know. I said this more than a dozen times, but how does Cade fit with the team? It'd be interesting to see how he does. He didn't have a terrible game. He had a couple of turnovers, but he hit a few big shots. And so 12 minutes for him. 12 minutes for Chaz Lanier off the bench with 2 threes. He had 8 points. And, Greg Kelser said something about this, speaking to how good of a coach JB is, just knowing what buttons to push. And Chaz Lanier was playing in the G League last week. And we've had guys like Sasser and Jenkins come off the bench recently and hit big threes and have some big moments. Paul Reed. And just all of a sudden, we kind of pull Chaz in. Let's see if he can give us something. And he did. And so what a luxury to have all these guys. We talked a lot about earlier in the season about the rotations, and I feel like we've gotten a lot better with the rotations. The guys that need to be seeing a lot of minutes are seeing minutes. And then having guys like this who can come in on a given night and just give you buckets and play good defense. And what a luxury it is, and I don't know how long we can keep that together, but it is a great thing to have. And then Dannis Jenkins with only 2 points, but he had 15 assists, and we'll talk about him in a minute because I really like Dannis. So a big win for Detroit. Bezelis had 20. He was really he was giving us the business, especially through the first 3 quarters. But we've kind of slowed him down thanks to Ron Holland and Javonte Green. But other than that, I mean, you had Vucevic with 20, and let's see here. Dosunmu had 24. That's the one who was giving us the business. That's what I meant to say. He came off the bench, gave him 24 points. He was giving us the business through 3 quarters, but thanks to Ron Holland and Javonte Green, we were able to slow him down. So, the Bulls aren't playing great lately. They've had a few good games. They've beat some really good teams, but they're 17-20 after that hot start. A game the Pistons needed to win, but, man, tough to win any game in the NBA, particularly when you're missing 3 starters. I'm going to say this again about Tobias. This is not me hating on Tobias, but we are now 14-1 with Tobias not in the lineup. And so I'm not saying Tobias shouldn't play, but I really don't think he should be a starter at this stage in his career on a championship team. Is Tobias Harris you're starting for? I really don't think so. But that's just Coach T's opinion. You can, of course, disagree with me in the comments and let me know what you thought about that fun win to watch against the Chicago Bulls. And then let's talk about Beef Stew. Beef Stew with 31 points, a career high. Again, just looked dominant, just looked unstoppable. They didn't have an answer for him. I don't know if it was that they didn't expect him to be that good on offense or what it was, but they just didn't have it. He had some dunks. He had some nice little baby hooks. He had a few threes. Really just doing everything. He had some great assists and just a good game. Obviously, this just coming off after Stu finding out he won Defensive Player of the Month. Cade Cunningham said of Isaiah Stewart's defensive impact, he said, he does a great job on everybody. So it's a luxury to have someone like that on your team. Stu is the anchor of our defense. He always has been, so it's a luxury to have him. Just like I said, I mean, I think Stu is championing this idea that, hey, we're playing defense. And the few times that we got a little bit lax, Stu and Ron and those guys kind of got him going. And then I saw this stat come out today from StatMuse. I don't remember who posted it. StatMuse is the one that posted it. Beef Stew this season, he is first in the league in bench blocks, so first from bench players. He's second in the league in total blocks, and then third in the league in blocks per game. The first defensive player of the year, Ben Wallace, to average 2+ blocks per game. The first Piston since Defensive Player of the Year, Ben Wallace, averaged 2+ blocks a game in a season. So, Stu is having a season. Could he be considered 6th man of the year? Right now, he's like not even in the top 10 on the list. He has started quite a few games, but could he be considered? I don't know. He's making a case. I, again, would love to see him work himself into the starting lineup. But Beef Stew just had a great game tonight. And I love me some Isaiah Stewart, man. And I'm looking for a 2X City Edition uh, beef stew jersey. They don't have any in the Piston store. I ended up buying a Jalen Duren one, which I also like. But if you know where I can cop a 2X Isaiah Stewart, I'm a big dude, a 2X Isaiah Stewart City Edition jersey, I'd love to get my hands on one of those because I love beef stew and I love what he's doing. And I think he is going to be kind of a cornerstone piece of this team for a long time. And I think it's inevitable that you got to find a way to work him into the starting lineup, even though he's the type of guy that he's willing to come off the bench and play his role regardless of what you have for him. So love me some beef stew. And then I wanted to give a little love to Dannis Jenkins. I know we've talked about him recently a little bit too, and having some good games, but he got a lot of minutes tonight, and he only scored 2 points, but 15 assists. And what I love about Dannis Jenkins versus a Marcus Sasser or versus a Jaden Ivey or versus a Karis LeVert in terms of running the point. Obviously, Cade is our point guard. I do like it to have Cade coming off the ball sometimes. But nobody else on the team is the floor general like Dannis Jenkins is other than Cade. Those other guys I mentioned, Sasser can come in and just get you buckets and play some defense, bring some energy, and he is just a walking bucket, right? And Ivy is to me a better off-the-ball player as opposed to a point guard, especially this year. He is not a point guard, and maybe he can get there, but he is not the decision maker. He needs to come off the ball. His off-the-ball shooting is good. His driving and penetration is good. So I'd like to see that. Karis LeVert, not a point guard. 2-ball dominant, dribbles too much, doesn't make great decisions, gets himself downhill and then tries to bail out by making a bad pass. So to me, Dannis Jenkins really is, and I've been saying this for a while, the backup point guard. He really should be. If you're going to start Duncan Robinson or maybe eventually Jaden Ivey, then who should come in for Cade, I think, is Dannis Jenkins. To me, I think a great second lineup is Dannis. Then I think Dannis, Tobias, Duncan Robinson, Ron Holland, Javonte Green, and then or Paul Reed. And you got to figure out on what given night which of those people need to be in there. But I know that's 11 people, so that's a lot. And I don't think we can run an 11-man rotation into the playoffs. Of course, with this team, the way we're playing, who knows? These guys just find a way to come in each and every night and get things done. But I love what Dannis is doing. He is under control. He made some unbelievable passes. That pass he had to Chaz Lanier when he hit that three, where he drove in and just completely turned and threw it back the other way out to the three-point line. He sees the floor well. He plays under control. He has unlimited confidence, plays good defense, and I think who I feel comfortable with handling the ball when K's on the floor, it's Dannis Jenkins or Dannis Jenkins. I don't know how you say it. Special K calls him Dennis. I call him Dannis. Somebody correct me there, said it's Dannis. Who knows how it's actually pronounced, but either way, he's a floor general when he's out there. He really controls the pace and does some good things. So 15 assists, and really that's the difference between him and Sasser. Like I said, Sasser is a bucket, and I love that, we have him, and hopefully we can keep him because there's some moments where we're going to need his shooting. But let me know your thoughts about that. Do you agree that Dannis is the backup point guard? Has he proven that at this point? I think so. And then let me round this off with a little bit of a beef. So Mike Valenti from 97.1 The Ticket, who really has just become a Pistons troll at this point. They're just not big Pistons guys, at least from the clips that I see. I don't listen to the full show, but I see a lot of clips from them. And, they love the Lions. They love the Tigers, which who doesn't? I do too. But they kind of hate on the Pistons. And maybe not hate on them, but just they kind of troll the Pistons. And there was a clip that I saw of him. He said, "This is going to make a lot of people mad, but I don't know why everyone's making such a big deal about the Pistons beating the Knicks so badly." It's like, dude, do you not remember the playoffs last year? Do you not remember our first playoff series in a while where we had a chance to win? Do you not remember Jalen Brunson and his little three? Do you not remember us, Tim Hardaway's foul in the corner that wasn't called? Do you not remember Asar getting like crossed out of the screen by Jalen Brunson and then getting that? I mean, do you not remember all this? Were you not watching? Were you busy watching the Tigers during that time? I don't know. And I understand some people like baseball better, some people like football better. No hate there. But the Pistons, they are representing Detroit extremely well right now, and they need some love. And the reason everybody's making such a big deal about it, because it was a big win. Not only did we beat our biggest rival right now, but we dismantled them. We absolutely tore them apart. And so, yes, it was a big deal, and I made a big deal about it, and a lot of other content creators did. Stephen A. Smith made a big deal about it. It was a big deal. If you're in the world of basketball and the world of the NBA, it was a big win. And, I've seen him make, his point was that it's just so early in the season. Who cares? I'm going to read you some of the other stuff he said. But I've seen him get excited about the Lions after week 1 victory. This is our year. Or the Tigers when they had their hot start, just really piling on how this team was special. And I love the Lions, and I love the Tigers, and I love when we're having a good season. But for some reason, this is just not a big deal when the Pistons do it. He said, November through January mean nothing in the NBA. He goes, it's just awful. It's no fun to watch. I tend to 100% disagree. Obviously, when the Pistons are no good, it is a little bit harder to watch. But I'm a basketball guy. I love basketball. I've been around the game my whole life. I've played the game, coached the game. So maybe that's different. But, the Pistons don't sometimes get respect from those commentators who really talk about the Tigers and Lions. He said, nothing that the Pistons do right now means anything. The only thing that matters is the playoffs. Well, if we want home court advantage, which would have really helped us last year, then what we do right now does matter. And these wins do accumulate and do matter and do count for something. Excuse me. And so, again, Mike Valenti, I disagree. I don't, give the Pistons some love, right? And he said they're going to beat the Knicks in the playoffs. It's a for sure thing. I also don't think that. Last year we went 3 for 4. We went 3-1 against the Knicks in the regular season, and then we got beat in the playoffs. Playoff basketball is different, and so, anyways, it is a big deal. Then he said this: nobody is watching these games. Nobody's watching a Monday night Peacock game, and I just want to fact check you there, Mr. Valenti. Number one. At the highest points, there were over 2 million people watching the Pistons-Knicks game. Also, I was in the stadium, and it was sold out. And it was an electric atmosphere, and it was crazy in there. So a lot of people were watching that game. And I think a lot of people in Michigan and in Detroit are really getting excited about the Pistons. And now that the Lions are done, and it's not spring training yet, so we don't have a lot of Tigers to talk about. It's the Pistons and the Red Wings, and they're both having great seasons, but the Pistons are having probably the best season right now of all of our teams, and it's still early and a lot can happen, but let's show the Pistons some love, baby. This is our team. And so he also went on to say, the East is terrible. We should be winning every game. And so, to me, yes, the East is down, right? But New York is a good team. They've beat some good Western Conference teams. Boston is a good team. They beat some good Western Conference teams. Orlando, Toronto. These are some good teams. Cleveland. And then we have beat the Lakers. We have beat the Rockets. We have beat some good Western Conference teams. So just to downplay it so much, like it's not a big deal what we're doing right now, I just didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me. Who cares what I think, right? Mike Valenti has got a much bigger following than I do and a much bigger show. But those are my opinions. So let me know what you think. Do you agree that they're just kind of trolling the Pistons? The Pistons need a little more love, a little more respect. Let's tag him in this and let's see what he thinks. I'd love to see his thoughts on this. But give the Pistons some love, baby. So that's all I got for you guys today. Good Pistons win. We got the Clippers this weekend. Got a couple days off, so hopefully Cade will be rested, and hopefully JD will be back. I don't know about Tobias. Looks like he's going to be out for a little bit longer. And so let's see what we get there. Let me know what you think about that Pistons win. Let's give Beef Stew and Jenkins some love in the comments, and then let me know what you think about Mike Valenti's comments on 97.1 the ticket. All right. Thanks for going along on this journey with me. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, Detroit basketball. Let's go, baby.